The visit to the US was strictly political. There was not real discussion as broad as in this visit here. We are interested in seeing how we can do that. We are open to study that and see how we can do something which is really important. I think the two countries can have an important role in building a more multipolar world in which power is less centralized. There's no hegemony. The visit to the US was also an important visit because, the United States still is one of the two biggest ones. The other is China, of course, so the two are very important. But the visit to the US was strictly political. There was not much discussion, maybe a little bit on environment also, but there was not real discussion as broad as in this visit here. It was important because we have to recognize that the United States played a positive role by not supporting, actually by rejecting an attempted coup that happened in Brazil just after President Lula was elected. And of course, the United States has still a big influence in Brazilian society, and the position of President Biden was important from that point of view. Of course, in other matters like international politics, we may have many different views, but this defense of democracy in Brazil was important. Well, here, of course, it's a broader, it's an expansion of our already existing strategic partnership. To start with, China is already our most important trading partner by far. As an investor, also Brazil is becoming one of the places in which China invests more. But not only that, but I think the two countries can have an important role in building a more multipolar world in which power is less centralized. There's no hegemony, and I think this is a very important aspect in which China and Brazil can play important roles. I think it's natural that we can do our own trade in our own currencies. Of course, that requires some adaptations in relation to the rules of the IMF, but it's only natural because the dollar has become dominant after the Second World War. Before it was the English pound. So now, if we can work with this, let us say, with a basket of currencies, and if we can almost use our own currency to a large extent, that's the best thing. Well, whether that can evolve to a common currency for the BRICS is something that's not yet totally clear. But I think it's very important that we are free from the dominance of one single currency, also because sometimes it is used politically. And for instance, if we want to have a transaction with a country that's under sanctions, unilateral sanctions, which were not approved by the United Nations, sometimes you cannot do that because they are transactions that, for instance, in the US dollars, we had problems like that in the past in our relations, for instance, with Iran. We were not selling anything very sensitive. It was poultry or meat or anything, but we had problems in having the trade. So that's something we have to look at. We are interested in seeing how we can do that, but for us it's very important to see what are the concrete projects that will come with that, and so we are open to study that and see how we can do something which is really important. For instance, today there was a meeting with one important Chinese company, State Grid, and we were discussing questions like renewable sources of energy. So, as I said yesterday in a conversation I had with Wang Wei, in reality, we started the Belt and Road Initiative much before, because our first cooperation started in terms of science and technology in satellite area, which is very important, of course. And this was in 1986. It's also a road in terms of technology. By chance, myself and now the present foreign minister came here as we were advisors to the Minister of Science and Technology at the time. So after that we had the strategic partnership and the global partnership, global strategic partnership. So I think the Belt and Road is developing already in our relations.